Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, interesting topic, different lighting, back to my house, not back to the hotel. And it's actually something I'm going to be covering in my book. What's a playbook for getting over my ex? Uh, I've been working on this book for a while. I've really taken the time and the effort to brainstorm how to give the best information for a breakup. And the thing is, we could talk about breakups. We can talk about why. We can talk about what went wrong. But the idea is you want to get through this fucking thing, right? I mean, that's the goal. And some people think, get my ex back. No, the goal isn't to get your ex back. It's to get you back on deck. It's to get your ass off the mat and start feeling sorry for yourself. It's for you to improve yourself. It's for you to take a dose of reality, check where you're at in life right now as an individual, first and foremost, and say, this is a really good question to start with. Really good question to start with. You're in a breakup. You're going through it. It's the first week. It's the second week. It's the third week. I don't know what it is. But you've come across YouTube. You've come across my channel. You've come across other channels. Whatever. You're hurting. What was my life like prior to the breakup? Not when you first met the individual. Think about this for a moment. And please, if you watch this video after the fact, please make a comment on this question, because it's a simple question that doesn't get asked a lot, but it's going to be a key in you starting the journey back from your breakup. It's going to be very, very, very key in you starting your journey back from the breakup. It's going to be the beginning of the playbook. And right now, I'm not going to give you the playbook. I've already outlined it. And first and foremost, any playbook, any play that you run in a sport, anytime you're following something, it doesn't have any guarantees. It just provides you with some structure, some strategies, some ideas that have worked for other people before. And if they work for you, good and dandy. If they don't, fine. But what happens is a lot of times people want to skip a playbook. They don't want to run the play. They don't want to use strategies. They don't want to work for it. They want to give me the pill. Hence, we have this red pill, blue pill thing. Hence, we have doctors that give out medicine first and foremost before they say, oh, and you have knee pain, you have back pain. How about, I don't know, getting some exercise, losing some weight because you're massively overweight, and that's probably why your knees hurt? No, people don't want to hear that shit. They go, give me the pill, my pain hurts. And this is the way a lot of societies and subcultures and cultures are run right now. And so when you get in a breakup, it's like, hey, what's the quick fix? What can I do? What's a shortcut, man? And there are some shortcuts. Thanks, Wendy Dawn, for giving me your ears today. Always a pleasure. There are some shortcuts. There's some absolute shortcuts. They don't always work. Secondly, they don't fix the problem. It's a Band-Aid. One of the biggest shortcuts you can do in a breakup is hook up with someone else and let your ex find out through social media. Great idea. Good intentions? No, not really, because in some way you're trying to hurt the person's ego, and then the person's going to get smacked in the mouth and go, wait a minute, that's mine. And then they come back to you. Is that something I look down upon people for doing? Hell no. It's up to you. It's your prerogative. It's your life to live. But at the end of the day, what do you really fucking want? Do you want to get in a relationship where someone is triggered by the fact that you're with someone else and then get back with you, and then 6 months down the road, 8 months down the road, you are doing the same breakup routine that you did before because the problem wasn't solved? All you did was create a situation where someone said, oh my God, someone else has you, now I want you more. You created value, but you didn't really fix the problem. And so where I'm going with this and where I'm going with this in my book is developing a playbook. and a strategy, a list of steps to go through, which you along the way can play with and change and tinker with. But I'm saying it all starts with this one question. And I think this one question is quite simple. It's easy. I don't know if everyone's going to answer it in the same way. What's up, Michael Andrew? I don't think you've been on before. May, it's always a pleasure. Hola. Could you guess what that one question would be? Because I talked about it, I touched on it early in this live stream. I'd like to mention it when we have about 10 on deck, but 5 is good. Thanks for the likes, folks. No contact's essential in most breakups, not all. And that's why you need to know your story. What's up, Keisha? Aloha. You have to know your story first. But getting back to this in the breakup, this is the essential, simple question that is absolutely, Lionel T, it's a pleasure. Everyone, is the sound okay? Because I'm actually in a different, I'm using my living room today. Long distance is easier. That's it. That's the thing about long distance. Well, it's easier. Here's an interesting part of that. Audio's good. Thanks, bro. The aspiring trial lawyer. Right on. I love that fucking narrative, by the way, Michael Andrew. Great. That's a great way to describe yourself. Aspiring trial lawyer. Fantastic. But here's the golden question. Now I'm going to wait a little bit. Like I said, I want a few more people on deck because I don't want to go over this again. It's going to get repetitive. But this is the question that you always want to ask when you're going through a breakup and you're having a hell of a time with it. Like you're really having trouble. Because what always got me is, 10 years ago, whatever it was, might be 11 years ago now. I keep saying 10 years ago, and it might be 11 by now. It might be fucking 12. I haven't time framed it. I was 28 years old, so maybe it's fucking 11. Okay, yeah, maybe it's 11 now. Whatever. What's the difference? I'm going through it, and then you start asking other people, like, have you been through a breakup like this? Did you feel this way? And the surprising thing, most people fucking have. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, I was sleeping on the couch, even though I had the bed still available. She moved out. I went down. I was sleeping on the floor, man. I was like, why were you sleeping on the floor? Because I couldn't sleep in that bed. It was too damn empty. I'm like, oh, you had that feeling too? Where it was ghostly in the room? Where it was so crazy? Yeah, I did. And you're like, wow, I thought you were fucking bulletproof, man. And I'm like, I started dating 3 months later, but all the girls I got with didn't mean anything. This, that. That being said, it happens to everyone in different ways, and that's why you got your story in. But interesting, Keisha. Interesting. Odd thought, but the gym is what most people find losing weight. But if you're already in really good shape, you can't use that as immediate self-improvement that you can really work at. Yeah, but Michael, you can. Good point. But if someone already exercises, they already value exercise, they can take it to another level. What I mean by that is like create a new goal. A lot of people want a 6-pack abs or something like that. That's never been a big goal of mine. But if you want them, you can have them, right? Okay, so what you can do with that is elevate your exercise, or something I did, change some of the extra. Like you value exercise, but what you need to do out of a breakup is value change, right? Because you're changing a part of your identity, you're changing a part of your routine. So let's just say, for example, if you go to the gym and you're a hardcore weight trainer, weightlifter, and you've been a meathead for years, and you're all about mass and muscle, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I want to slim out a little bit, see what it's like to do some yoga, maybe do some swimming and some biking, or maybe I'm going to take up boxing or something like that, right? Or you look back on time and you go, oh, I really liked playing basketball, I really like this, but I gave that up because I started doing weightlifting. So you value exercise, but then you take a different direction and start a whole nother thing that maybe will occupy your time and mind. That's another way to go out of that. Okay. Yes, exactly, Lionel T. I love the name Lionel T. LT, the great Lawrence Taylor. I was already in good shape at my gym, so I ended up joining a CrossFit gym. Different challenge, a more social setting helps with breakups. Absolutely. I feel like I mention it too often about yoga. And full disclosure, I'm not a yogi or someone that goes to yoga 6 times a week, but I've been to yoga kind of off and on with it. I appreciate it. I just find that if you're in a really low place, one thing about yoga, and I would add CrossFit, is if you're in a group class in a social setting, or maybe even get a personal trainer, anyone that's supporting you. And the thing about doing group exercise sometimes like that, like Zumba, which my mother does, things like that, where you're in a group and afterwards you're all in a good mood and everything like that. You don't have to talk about your breakup necessarily, but it just feels nice to socialize with like-minded people. I liked it for more of the mental workouts, meditation, and reading. That's just fine too. If that suits you better, fine. During my breakup, isolated a lot. And some people, I've suggested that to people and they say, oh, I don't like that. It made me feel more lonely. For me, I was in such a place with guilt and some shame. I was embarrassed about losing someone that I thought was a great catch. And that's something that I'll talk about in the book. That happens to a lot of people when they feel like they were with a really good catch and they identified with that it's almost embarrassing in some ways. It's almost shameful that they lost this person. Someone that sounds like an interesting analogy, but you go fishing, right? And you catch 6 fish, and the one that got away that was really big that you got up to the boat, that's the one you think about, right? And when you're in a breakup with someone that you held at a high level, you take it personal. And so for me, going into running in parks and on the bay and near lakes and shit like that, which I never did before. I was never into running individually. Was solace. It was fantastic, and it was a great thing for me at the time. Other people, find your groove, but whatever it is, it needs to be exercise. And the great thing about exercise is it puts you in the present moment, right? So, like I said, I've been waiting to get to about 8 or 9 people before I mention this golden question that everyone needs to ask once they're in the breakup. That's extremely, extremely simple question that I've come up with today. And I think it is the match that'll light the fire of you burning your breakup and moving forward. Because all we have really, and this is what I do in live coaching sessions, is answering good questions. What we do way too much is ask a question like, for example, is my ex coming back? Does my ex love me still? Do they miss me? And I've done that. I've been there, so I'm not above it. I'm with you. And then we get this answer like, oh, they're probably with someone else. Because you don't really know. And that's the problem with that's the mouse wheel in your head in a breakup, is that you're constantly asking these questions you don't know the answer to, and you have no clue because the answer lies in your ex's mind. And even if you went back to your ex and you're like, hey, have you been missing me? It'll make you look weak and needy, and they might lie to you, right? And so when you get into that mouse wheel, it's really difficult to get out of it because you're almost, thanks for that, Michael. I appreciate it, bro. You're almost suspended by the idea of, well, if I ask her or I ask him, or if I ask it, are they going to tell me the truth, or are they going to think I'm weak, or will they even answer the phone? All these things come to your mind and you just go, but the real questions have to come from you, because those answers are going to be true blue. Those answers, even though you might fight the reality of it, if you can ask yourself some good questions, and Michael Andrew knows what I'm talking about. I send you out, I don't know, a set of 20 questions, sometimes just 10, depending on the person's situation. And the questions aren't groundbreaking, right, Michael? I mean, I'm not sitting here being, the Einstein of fucking breakups. But I sat around and I said, all right, these are some compelling questions to ask yourself that you're probably not asking yourself because You just want to know, will they come back? And if they come back, will they be all in? You just want to know. You want pleasure-seeking answers. You want answers that are going to fix pain, not answers that are going to make you go, oh, yeah, maybe if I work on this in a couple of years, things will get better. Because everything's immediate, right? Everything's immediate. So I've waited long enough. The golden question, the question, dun 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 dun, prior to your breakup. So let's and don't get hung up on this. Was it 1 month? Is it 2 months? Is it 3 weeks? I don't fucking know. Prior to your breakup, let's just say within a 6 month to 3 month window, or let's just say when things started to turn. Because relationships, there's always a turn, right? Michael knows this. We've done a live coaching before. There's a shift where and this is why it's really good to write out your story and get it to me. Because when you write out your story, what happens is you're writing out your story and you're like, oh shit, that's right when it shifted. And usually it's some kind of turning point in the individual's life. They got a job, they had a death in the family, they had an illness, a dog died. There's all kinds of shit that can happen. And all of a sudden your partner, you're like, I just noticed we went on this trip and they were being really vague. We went on this trip and they weren't talking the same. We were on the phone and there was a long silence. Whatever. There's a turning point where all of a sudden you're like, yeah, this wasn't the relationship we've been in that's been fucking outstanding, great. Intimacy is outstanding. Love, connection, trust, all that shit, right? All of it. And then something happens and your relationship goes from like this to just starts going downhill really quick. So save that for your story, but ask yourself this fucking question and answer this question for the 6 that are on deck right now. If you're in the comments right now, if you watch this video this long, please answer this question. And it's so simple and it's so revealing. Prior to my breakup, as an individual, was my life good, bad, or just okay? Think about that for a moment. As an individual, prior to this breakup, so let's just say, because everyone's different. Some people are together for a year. Some people are different for 3 years, 4 years, and so on. Some people are like on and off breakup. But prior to the breakup, and I would say within 2 weeks to a month, prior to the breakup, don't get hung up on the time frame, but prior to the breakup, individually, was your life good, bad, or okay? And if you're an analytical person, you might be going, oh, what involves good? What involves bad? What involves okay? Fuck that. Let your subconscious answer the first thing that comes to your mind. So if someone had asked me this question about that breakup that I had 10, 11 years ago that was so horrible for me, it would be an instant BAD. Instant. I wouldn't even fucking hesitate. I wouldn't go, oh, yeah, what does it mean? Well, it was good sometimes. And I would go, fuck no, everything's been bad. Coincidence, right? Is that a coincidence? Now, you could flip this. And a lot of people do this during the breakup because they don't want to be accountable for their own feelings or look in the mirror. You could have flipped this and you could go, is their life good, bad, or okay? That's for them to decide. But looking from the outside in an objective view, overall, and what is your life? Spiritual, financial, career, family, friends, so on, so on, so on. You never have all the boxes checked, but a lot of times you have things in check when you're doing okay. When things are going really good, you have a good job, you have a good family interaction. And I've told you before, the happiness recipe is this: camaraderie. Camaraderie is good, whether that's at work, friends, or family, right? Look up the term camaraderie if you don't understand what it means. And you're proud and privileged of your work. You're proud and privileged of who you are. But think about that question for a moment. Does anyone have an answer to that question immediately? Who were you as an individual, and how did you look at your life prior to your breakup? Right? But prior to your breakup, prior to it going down, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, if someone said, how's your life going? You said, pretty damn good. Said, as an individual, not really good. You don't have to go into details, but just, was it good, bad, not ugly, or okay? Just okay. All right. Just okay. And that's fine. That's actually neutral. you're in a good place. So if you're just okay, this is a really good starting point, Michael Andrew, because you can be more neutral. You're not going to bury yourself in regret, shame, and guilt. You're going to be honest with yourself. And when you don't, isn't that, so this is a really good question, right? Because what people don't usually ask this fucking question. This is groundbreaking. Sorry, but it is, because when I came up with this, I thought about it. I was like, if I would have answered this question in the beginning of my breakup, it would have framed where I was headed in the future. So like Michael Andrew goes, oh, just okay. Are you, Michael, I've talked to you. You seem like a driven person. You seem like a high achiever. Are you satisfied with just okay? And this isn't like an inspirational speech. You know what I mean? It's not, I'm not going there with that. Talking to you, you got high aspirations, you got ambition, you got goals. So just being okay is actually, it's not bad, but it's not where you want to be, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. The breakup wasn't ideal, but it gave you the kick in your ass to go, you know what? I want better. Correct me if I'm wrong. It served a purpose so far, right? Now, if you ask Michael, because I know your situation, Wendy will get to you in a moment. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for making this a interactive live stream. So if you had to answer for your ex, I'm pretty sure what you would say, what's their life like? And the reason I use good, bad, and okay is it's extremely simple to just classify those three things. You don't have to go into details. You don't have to explain it. It's even like, Wendy, you explained it a little bit there, but it's just bad. B-A-D, fucking capital letters, right? And if you say that as an individual, then you have a responsibility to yourself, regardless of the breakup, regardless of where that went, to take this individual time to lick your wounds, face your fears, and ask yourself, am I going to get off the mat, or am I going to be a victim and allow this to be a reason for me to cry and feel sorry for myself? You can absolutely do that for a period of time, but does it serve you? Now, once you get this answer, you can start from there. And obviously you want to get in a place where my life's pretty good. Notice I didn't say great, outstanding, exceptional, excellent, because life is fleeting. Okay. If someone tells me, oh, my life's outstanding, exceptional, great, wonderful, 100% of the time, I don't think it's a realistic human. It would be extremely good if you're an 80-20. And 80-20 mean 80% of the time things are pretty damn good and 20% are bad. And I'll tell you why. The bad just tells you how good the good is. Without the sour, you could never taste the fucking sweet. And if you meet people that, you know, are highly privileged individuals since they were born, they're not really people you like to be around because they're clueless. So you do need some bad shit to happen to appreciate the other stuff. But overall, if you could just say, hey, things are pretty good, you know, and that has to do with your camaraderie and being proud and privileged of who you are, proud and privileged of your job or your career or whatever. If you don't have a job, there's people I know that don't have to work, but they're proud and privileged to be to handle their garden, their vegetable garden, or they volunteer at an old people's home, whatever. Career lacking was what made it poor. Friends and family was there and great, but breakup was a kick in the ass to boost career bucket of life. Breakup, fork in the road, get up off the mat, throw in towel. Absolutely, Michael. And this is something that so then you could cling to that and go, you know what? Fuck this. I got some extra time. The relationship's been on life support, or the relationship's been kind of bad. And I would say that before you broke up, you'd say the relationship was bad for a moment, right? And you go, all right, I'm an individual. Things have been okay, but I can put some time and energy into my career now. It's, I miss this individual. I like her. I care for her. I love her. But I'm not going to be a victim. But this is an extremely useful question to ask yourself. And I never asked myself this question 11 years ago. And I wish I would have, because it would have brought a lot of clarity to the situation. Because what I did, full disclosure, is things were bad. Things were bad from my interpretation of things. Things were bad because of my perception. Things were bad, but someone else that had my life might have thought, oh man, you're so lucky. There was a lot of things going good that I just couldn't see because of my interpretation, some habits that were bad habits that I had developed. And it wasn't until my breakup that I started to unpack these months later and going like, But in the beginning, I didn't recognize like everything's been bad. You know what I did? This is the theme I went with. Oh, this is when women will break up with you or leave when everything else is bad. They'll never stick around. It's like, yeah, surprise, surprise. Women want you at their best. You know what I mean? You know, you look back and you're like, oh, yeah, that was a great victim statement in my head to go, oh, this is what all women do. You know, you can't be in a hard place in your life with your career or your family or this or that because they'll just leave you, which is not true. They'll support you, but you need to support yourself. They're not going to sit around and save you from this. They're not going to sit around and listen to you cry and wince and whine, but they'll support you when you're supporting yourself. It's like when I do coaching, it's a lot easier when someone pays $125 an hour or $220 for 2 hours and they've committed to it. They put some confidence and belief in myself by putting the money there. And then they go, I want to fix this. I want to improve. And they write out their story, take a little bit of accountability. They're willing to listen, right? This is going to create some kind of progress because you're taking a step towards change. You're taking a step towards solution. You're taking a step towards, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to go to you just to complain. And there's some people that come to me and they just want to complain the whole time and whine and cry and complain. And that's fine. I'm here for you, especially in the first session. I got compassion for it. Right? But especially if we meet for a second session, a third session, or we have some email correspondence, you quickly understand it's like you can only do that so long. And then it's like you get tired of it, right? You get tired of whining and complaining and bitching all the time. And so, Wendy Dawn, getting back to you, when you said emotionally, mentally, and physically bad, how can you even, you think about it prior to a breakup. I mean, think about it this way. You go to the doctor, you got a serious illness, or you got the flu. Let's just say you got the flu because that's universal. That's international. Everyone gets the flu. Let's not go into some dark, deep virus or anything like that, right? Let's say you got the flu. You got a really bad case of the flu. You got a fever. You're coughing, you're sneezing, you feel ill, you're sick. What does the doctor tell you? Oh, take this pill and it'll all go away in a day. No, it's the flu. Drink your fluids, get some orange juice, drink some water, get your rest. Don't go to work, right? Get your rest, relax. Get your water. Oh yeah, here's a few different little pills that you can take maybe to stop the allergies, or if you have asthma, here's an inhaler, so on and so on. But the reality is you're going to get through it by resting, by recuperating, and letting your body do the work. So when you're in a breakup and you look back and you're like, prior to the breakup, where were you? And you go, bad. You need to unpack that motherfucker. You need to go through it and go, oh shit. As an individual, I hate my job. As an individual, I'm in massive debt. As an individual, I'm overweight and unhappy with the way I look. Not, oh, they just left me because I gained weight. That's blameful. That's blameful, and it doesn't get you anywhere. But that's the immediate reaction. Oh, they just left me because I gained weight. Or, I've gained a little bit of weight because this, and this. I have a high metabolism, right? Okay, I'm with you. Is it possible to find a diet out there that'll help you? I've known people that have gone on and on about like, no, there isn't anything that'll help me. That's bullshit. My ex is a better man right now. He quit hanging out at bars, drinking, and goes to church now. He has been trying to win me back, but I just don't want to be with him anymore. That's an interesting story. I mean, well, good for you being a strong individual and knowing what you want and knowing what you want right now, Wendy. Sometimes when you get disentangled, it's almost like getting out of a spider web and you all of a sudden feel like, oh my God, I was in a jail cell and I had the keys the whole time. Like V for Vendetta, right? Because you go through that and you're just like, holy shit, what was I thinking? Was this impossible? No, it's not. But it starts with that one question. Prior to the breakup, as an individual, who was I? Or where was I at? Was life good, bad, or just okay? And then from there you go, do I want to continue it bad or do I want to continue just being okay? And if it was good, which is possible, Most likely, tell me I'm wrong on this, even if you're just okay, like Michael mentioned, most likely, if the individual broke up with you, could it be that they looked at their lives as being bad and they somehow grouped you in unfairly or fairly in their minds as being part of that badness? And you look at it and you're like, wow, I wasn't a part of the problem. Because this happens a lot. People go, oh, they have a sister, or they have a mother, or they have an uncle that's been influencing them, this and that. That's not really in your power. You could sit there and chime in and go, yeah, I think your sister's giving you bad information. They still got to make that decision on their own, right? Met up with an ex last weekend. She told me how much she missed me. We were intimate, and she cried about how we hadn't talked. Seeing her again this weekend feels such a power shift. Outstanding. I know your story very well, Michael. You have ran a very good playbook on this, and I know that you went into it with a little bit of uncertainty. And hopefully, what I'm hoping from your situation, Michael, is that just be true to yourself on this, because you got a lot going for you. You got a lot of ambition. And just because you're getting back together right now doesn't mean you want to go 0 to 100. Take your time with this. Be honest with yourself. You know, you might be in a situation, I'm not saying this is true or not true, just a consideration here, where once you get back together or once you start getting serious, you realize actually there was a lot of minuses there, and this was just a challenge that I wanted to overcome to see if I can get her back. If that's the case, at some point, you need to be honest with yourself, because you're a young man, you got a lot going for you, right? But kudos to you. I'm happy that you guys had a good moment. You ran a pretty good playbook, because I remember, you went into no contact. And one of the things Michael did, for people listening right now, tough breakup on different levels, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but he accepted the breakup. He got to a point where he accepted it. He wanted her back. He didn't want it to go down. He was retreating. He was playing not to lose. And then he got to a point, he went, all right, fine, I got you. Curtains. And he went into no contact, because that was the best move for him. He started, improving who he was as an individual the best he could. And that wasn't, taking some secret medicine or pill and poof. That was him doing some serious work involving actually contacting me too, and getting a live coaching session and getting a private story response, which a lot of people like, where you send in your story, but it's not public on YouTube, which I do a lot of. $65, but he was looking for solutions out there. He's looking for help. He's looking for a mentor or advisor or a coach. And that's what you should be doing when you're a little lost in a breakup, especially if it's your first bad one. Anyone else have a response to that that's on deck right now today, that prior to your breakup, was your life as an individual good, bad, or just okay? And then if you had to guess, because that's what it is it's a guess. What was your ex's life? Was it good, bad, or just okay? Taking my time, won't get back, LDR regardless. Maybe when I'm back in Boston, taking everything one interaction at a time. Outstanding, but feels validating. No, she's missed me. Outstanding. That's exactly how I would recommend you do it, Michael. The tables have turned. You're in a good place right now. I'm happy that you feel validated. You're in a situation where you have a little bit of power in the relationship, but at the same time, you're leaving your options open and taking everything one interaction at a time. Perfect. And I don't use the word perfect a lot. For him, it was good because of the changes he made, but I was not happy even with the changes. So I know I made the right choice. I was tired of being tired emotionally and mentally. I was mentally done for a long time. Well, that's part of it. Even though the person changed, you're probably going to have, there was so much damage done that you probably have trouble seeing him in any other light. Does that make sense? It's kind of like Robert De Niro's typecasted in movies. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? And I'm going somewhere with this. Robert De Niro is a fantastic, exceptional actor. if Robert De Niro was in a movie and he did transgender and he became a woman, people would go, "Whoa, shit." I didn't, someone might go, "Oh, well, Robert De Niro was outstanding." Most people that are big fans of De Niro would not like that work because they see him in a certain light as a certain actor in a certain way. And think about this. When people see actors and actresses, these are professional fakes. Think about that for a moment. And I'm not putting them down. They're professional at faking things. And people are like, "Oh my God, it's Denzel Washington." You think you know him because you watched a variety of his movies. And Denzel Washington, a lot of times, typecasted. He always plays a cop or a tough dude, and you like Denzel Washington in a lot of ways. And he always, training there. He's always tough. He's always smart. He's always confident. He's these similar things. If he showed up and he played, like I said, just off the cuff, if he was dressing up as a woman in a movie and, came out about his sexual preference for men in a movie, everyone would be like, "Whoa, this is Denzel Washington's kind of movie." No, Denzel Washington most likely would turn it down. This is what makes like Sean Penn or some of these other actors so interesting that are able to really be different in different roles. Bottom line, they're all fakes. Professional fakes, right? And here's the crazy thing. Academy Awards. I don't really watch them. I've had girlfriends before that really like it. My mother really likes it. So it's been on in the background before. Talk about a dramatic fucking scene for an award. I mean, the drama put into the Academy Awards. It's a fake movie. It's like somehow they've made it so real that I want to thank the Academy. I want to thank these people. I want to thank. Even when it's a true story about a hero, right? They're almost taking credit for that person's hero's journey. Think about that for a minute, and you're like, what the fuck? Think about that. And the Academy Awards, they just dramatize the thing, right? Because that's what they do. And what I'm saying about this, about Robert De Niro being typecasted, it's just fine. Robert De Niro's great. Heat, great movie. Godfather, great movie. Is he a similar character in every movie? Fuck yeah. He's a tough dude. You got a lot of respect for him. He's got good morals and values. He doesn't fuck around, right? But you know him to be that kind of person. Now, Wendy Dawn, if I had to guess, this was a long-term relationship, right? Over 10 years or something like that. If you're with someone really, really long, you typecast them. Not 2 years, 3 years. If you're together 6, 7, 8 years, you start to typecast them. They typecast you. If someone changes, the other person doesn't like it. And the other person really, even if the person changes, if there's been enough damage done, you're like, "Yeah, you've changed. Yeah, you don't go to the bars anymore. Yeah, you're going to church, but I still don't like you." Because there's too many layers of facts, data, truth, real shit that you're like, even though you're going to church, you did this, this, and this, which totally counteracts you going to church from me. They've been typecasted. And so it's really hard for you to say like, "Oh yeah, you've been going to church for 2 months. Now I believe you." Now, the only time this works, like if you're married 14 years and you got 2 or 3 kids and your kids come first, then you somehow go, "Well, for the kids, I'm gonna give this guy the benefit of the doubt." If you don't have kids, you kind of like, "You know what? I'm just sick. I'm tired. I'm emotionally tired. And deep down inside, I'm happy that you changed. And I think it's great for you, but I'm not willing to see if that's a long-term change or not, because I just deep down don't believe in it." J2 the C. Interesting name. Life was okay. My ex was bad. She was in an abusive marriage. So yeah, there you go. Life was okay, but my ex's was bad. Here's one where things go quick. This is a quick breakup. Things are great for your ex and yours was bad. Those are the worst breakups, because you're in a bad place. They're in a great place. They don't understand why you're not in a great place. They try to pull you up. They try to cheer you up, but that just works counter. And then when you do break up, you're like, "Oh, you just think you're so great and wonderful." That's kind of like where I was, right? But looking at it, J to the C. So she was in an abusive marriage prior to you, which isn't your fault, but you still have to deal with it, and she's got to deal with it. Bottom line is, after the breakup, let me ask you this, J to the C. Where did you go? Did you go up or down? What was your reaction after answering that question? Mary, just to put you up on this, son. In my book right now, I'm developing a playbook, something to run a step-by-step group of steps, step-by-step group of steps, a playbook that you can use when you're in a breakup that should be universal. And the first thing I'm going to use is this question. Prior to your breakup, please answer it, Mary, if you'd like. I know your situation, but you could talk about breakups in the past also, right? Not just this one. And Keely, if you want to ask this also, answer this also. Were you in a good place, a bad place, or just okay as an individual in your own life? Just answer that question. I know you like to explain yourself, Mary. Just answer it very simply. But when people say they don't want any more friends in their life, do they really mean that, or do they just want you in their life? When people say they don't want any more, it depends on the individual, Keely. Bottom line is, when people say that, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Are they a truthful person? I don't want to chase friendship with someone that tells me they don't need any more friends in their life. I'd go, no sweat off my balls. Thanks for telling me. Maybe it hurts. Maybe it's not nice. But if someone's going to not be meeting me halfway as a friend, I'm not going to make the whole effort. And if they're, I wouldn't, if they're going to lie about that or play some covert game, then I really don't want to be their friend. What's up, Mary? Yes, 14. See, 14 years. I thought you had told me that before. There was a lot of damage. Luckily, no kids. Well, there you go. And where are you at now, Wendy? And how long ago was this? And we still have to do a live coaching session. I believe you did pay for one. How long ago was this? And where are you at now? Did you move up a little bit? Are you okay? Are you better? So J to the C went down, down, down. All this happened about 2 months ago. So you definitely need the playbook. J to the C, have you sent your full story into writemac.com? I was in a bad place. And your ex was good, bad, or okay? And see, the simplicity of just answering that question makes you look at things differently, right? Because the question is you as an individual. The question isn't about your breakup. It's deeper than that. Good. Justin Adams. Sorry, I just had to do something with someone that sent a stupid message that was already hidden. I found out that my ex started smoking pot. That was a reason why she left. I quit. She picked it back up. Kind of bizarre. What's up, by the way? Shout out to Boise, Idaho. Boise, Idaho. Great potatoes. Idaho is a popular place. A lot of people are moving there from California. Good value, I've heard. So, I mean, if your ex was smoking pot and that was something that was extremely bad for you, it is a specific situation, and that you looked at your ex smoking pot as a negative, it affected your relationship, well, then that's your prerogative. You have a clear-cut situation. My question is, Justin Adams, as an individual, as an individual, Mr. Justin Adams, prior to your breakup, was your life in a good place, bad place, or just okay? He was ready to move to the next level in our relationship, so he was in a good place. So this is a really good, looking back, you can look at it and you can go, this was the root. This is one of the roots of the problems in breakups usually. Here's the crazy part. It's very difficult for everyone to be in a good place in their life at all times. I'm not suggesting that. This isn't some bullshit oh yeah, I mean, just do meditation, exercise, have some ice baths, do the Wim Hof method, and everything will be outstanding and you'll never feel sad again. Bullshit. Your partner should be there to support you when you're in a bad place. The question is, are you helping yourself up out of it? Are you making it a habit? And are you making the other person feel guilty? That's a big one. Myself included. I remember when you're in a bad place and you have a partner, you have a person that can enable you to feel shitty and whine and complain. That's when you kind of just come comfortable with being in a bad place. When you're all alone and you don't have anyone to lean on or support your bad place, that's when it gets real quick. And you have to ask yourself, do I want to improve myself? Just writemac.com, all the J to the C, all the directions are on the services page. Send it in. If you want a public YouTube response, your name doesn't get mentioned. If you want a paid YouTube response, it's private, you can give more details. And then if you want to go straight into a coaching, that's fine. A couple people that are on this live stream have been in the live coaching sessions and they can attest they're damn good. If the live coaching session isn't useful or helpful in you moving forward, I do offer a full refund. So he was ready to move on. Okay. I'll be honest. I became complacent. I lost my motivation and stopped courting her like I was. I wasn't in the best place. So you don't even want to say you were in a bad place. So here's Justin. Let me ask this question more simple because you're over explaining it in the terms of the breakup. This is really interesting, actually, and I like that I appreciate that you've given me this answer because this is something we can work with, and this is something we can explain with the 9 on deck. Totally, completely understand why you answered it that way, but that's not what I'm looking for. You as an individual, not you as a boyfriend or a husband or a partner. You as an individual, was life good, bad, or just okay? It's not about you, Justin Adams, the partner, the guy that was boring or lost motivation. It's like, how did you feel about yourself? Were you proud and privileged at your job? Did you have good camaraderie in your life? These are some scaled things. On a scale of 1 to 10, what was the camaraderie like at work? On a scale of 1 to 10, how proud of you were you of your job? Or if you're going to university, your degree, right? These are simplified scales to check where you're at in life. And I haven't come across them until I did my own research on my own life and I circle back. And I'm no extraordinary individual, okay? And, I'm not one of these individuals. Now we measure everyone like, oh, this is Dean Grossinelli and he's got $300 million. And this is so-and-so with $400 million. Big whoop-de fucking do. Are these people happy? Oh, they look really happy in the videos. It's a commercial, folks. Newsflash, rich people have problems too. The question isn't eliminating the problems. The question is, do you fucking have the toolkit, balls, gusto, juice, ability, life experience to get through the problems? To be honest with yourself and go, hey, wait a minute. I want to fix some things and I'm capable. So Justin, was your life as an individual good, bad, or just okay? Like I said, where you look at your life is your work, your school, your family, your friends. Those are other things that they don't intertwine with your ex immediately, right? It's like this is what people do. They layer everything. They put everything in one big bag, like you're throwing your laundry and you're like, oh, I got family problems. Oh, I got financial problems. I'm in debt. Oh, I'm getting really fat. I don't like the way I look. Oh, and they just threw it in one bag, save it for later. And then it's like, oh, everything's so bad. No, it's like take out the one thing about your financial problems and put that over here and start working a part-time job and paying off your debt. I remember in college, my college roommate, we worked together, and he didn't go to school, but he worked full time, and he paid his rent and everything. He was a responsible dude, and all of a sudden he got a part-time job at a restaurant. I'm like, damn, dude, what are you doing? He's like, well, I don't really talk about it, but I have a little bit of debt. And he goes, I have some. He had a drunk driving years back that he was still paying down, and I think he had to pay his parents back a little bit of money. So he took a part-time job. This dude was working his ass off because he took responsibility for his life. I was shocked. I was like, oh, I didn't even know about that. He's like, yeah, I just want to get some of my debt out of the way. I want to pay off my truck. So instead of him going, oh, I'm in debt, as if he wasn't responsible for it, right? The answer to the question is, how do I make more money? Which is a question with a question, which actually works sometimes. The answer to the question is not, oh, I'm in debt, look at me. Wah, wah. I was in a bad place. I wasn't hanging out with friends and family. I wasn't proud of what I was doing anymore. I shut down internally for some reason, and I'm trying to figure out why. What's up, Judy Jack? You missed a fucking gem of a show. Maybe you can go back and watch it because this one was good. My ex said she shouldn't have jumped into a relationship and said she should have healed from her abusive marriage before she got with me. But yet she started dating someone a few weeks later. We were together a year. So she probably projected her problems onto you. You're not an individual that knows how to handle those problems, so you probably juggled them the best you could, but you never really satisfied her in the way that she was looking to heal. There's no reason to blame her. You probably learned a lot in this situation, and she needs to find a way to heal. So Justin, so let me ask you this. You were in a bad place. You've been on this live stream before. I believe you sent your story, and I'm pretty sure. From breaking up, where did you go from there? Obviously, when you're in a bad place and you break up, I don't think anyone goes, oh yeah, I'm going to feel a lot better now. I'm gonna rule the world, and I'm gonna go from that. No, you probably feel worse. You feel worse because that was the one person that made you feel good, or at least you still had them, kind of a thing. But at the same time, was there a point, Justin Adams, where you went, all right, now I need to work on this friends thing. I need to work on, finding a job that I'm proud about doing anymore. Was there a shift at any point? Judy Jack, just to let you know really quick, because I think you'll like this idea, and I appreciate your input as a seasoned individual from the beautiful Southern California. It's funny because someone had asked me a couple of years ago, you're doing breakup coaching? And they're like, well, what are your designations? What's your training? I go, I'm a seasoned individual. I've been through a lot of life experience. And they were like, okay. That hurts, but you're right. Yeah, it's been a really bad experience, and I have never felt this much pain ever. I have learned a lot from it. Well, there you go, bro. Learning a lot from it it's gold. And you'll be more compassionate to friends and family that go through the same experience. And it hurts, but you're right. That's a great realization. And it probably hearing it from me is a little bit easier than hearing it from a family member or a friend, because I don't have any kind of ill intentions towards you. I wish you would address the other side of the coin, meaning if someone broke up with someone. Can you put that in a question context? Did you move to another? This is actually my home. This is my home. So I'm back home for the moment, but I've been moving around a little bit. I've stayed with a couple of friends and did different things, but it doesn't mean I'm down and out or anything like that. I don't share all those details. Yeah, Keisha, just get specific on what you mean by that question, and I'll do my best to maybe make a video about it in a different live stream. Or I know what you mean, but I don't know what you mean. So does that make sense? Maybe I'm 50-50 on this. That hurts, but you're right. Yeah, it's been a really bad experience, and I am okay. I begged and pleaded for a day. I got depressed for a few weeks. After a month, I started rekindling other relationships, and I started my recovery when I realized that I needed to work on myself. And when you realize that you need to work on yourself, Justin, and this is something I really want to know, what was the turning point? What was the turning point? Were you just sick of feeling sorry for yourself? I've heard that people say that. Or was there one event that kind of went, you know what, actually, this isn't about everyone else. This is about me. Was there a point? Did you move to another place? I answered that. I did too. I'll email you my update. I've been busy since I got back to work. Yeah, anytime, Mary. So Judy Jack, the question was, and I keep, what I'm saying to people to start, one of the first questions you should ask, the first question you should ask yourself that's groundbreaking and actually absolutely paramount question is, are you, or prior to your breakup, were you in a good place, bad place, or just okay in your own life as an individual? And then ask yourself, where was your ex at? Makes a lot easier hearing it from you. Wish more people would be straightforward and honest. Well, I mean, friends and family, it's hard, myself included. You know how many times I've had people that I know that aren't even close friends are like, oh man, one of my friends is going through a breakup and I gave him a link to your videos and I gave him a link to your website. And it's not one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, give him all the information. We'll do a coaching session. It's like, yeah, watch the videos if he wants to. It's fine. Majority of people will watch videos. Majority of people go online for free shit, myself included. You got to it's like you go for free. It takes a long time to make a purchase on the internet, right? So, and I'll be honest, if you're really going through it, a live coaching session fucking helps a lot. It's a difference maker for people, okay? It's a fork in the road. And the reason I'm able to do that, I have some experience, but the other thing is I had a couple of people help me out, and it was extremely helpful and extremely useful, and the dots didn't get connected till years later. Like in the moment I felt better. The live coaching session, 100%, I've never had anyone complain. They feel better because they get to get their story out, they get to talk about it, they get some useful and helpful information. They have a couple of aha moments where like, oh shit, I didn't look at it that way. And then it's back to reality 2 or 3 days later. But down the road, something's going to be in your subconscious where you're going to go, oh shit, yeah, I got to stop being a victim. Oh yeah, I did kind of look at that wrong. You really need to unpack this thing with someone. Get back together a week ago. I understand she didn't want to hurt my feelings, but she made me think we were going to get back together a week ago. Is it possible you made yourself think that? I guess my question is, when you are the dumper, how do you move on? I'm sure you already have a video. I guess I'm just venting. I'm sure there's something about this. I've dealt with this personally, Keisha. Every situation is different. I would need to know your full story to give you a tailored response. Here's the thing. Short answer, get clear on why you broke up, because you broke up with them for a reason. Secondly, was it a fair assessment at the time? Thirdly, were you in a good place in your life at the time, or were they in a good place in their life at the time? So did you make the decision out of angst or, will? The problems that you did have, Keisha, are they going to go away at any point, or is this just how that person is? Is that person dug in on things? Like, for example, I'm just going to use something simple like cigarettes or a drug problem or alcohol. These are things that can kill a relationship. You break up with someone. If they become sober for 6 months to a year, problem solved? Well, if you believe it's solved, you have to go back and realize, are you just lonely, or do you really believe that person is a better partner than you gave them credit for? Good question. I don't exactly remember what shifted my mindset, but my friends and family told me how they honestly felt about my ex. I think that helped me open my eyes. I also gaslighted myself sometimes on accident. What does that mean, to gaslight yourself? In retrospect, I realized that the interaction was giving me the feel of good hormones. You realize that when they go away, so key is how to do that for yourself, and it can never be taken away. Interesting. Possibly she was crying and said she missed me and didn't know why she was confused. She said she would talk about maybe getting back together later. Well, here's the thing really quick. All the power's in her hands, and that's not a good place for you to be in as a man. But today she told me she was happy with her new man. That's your cue right there to say, I'm done. That when someone's in a breakup and they care about you, they don't say things like that. Okay, that might be the answer for you. Then you can revisit that, Keisha, because you're in a better place now. Maybe it was individually based. But here's what you do have to do, Keisha. Forgive yourself. I forgive myself. I was doing the best I could in the moment with the information that I had and the place I was at in life. Say that to yourself. I forgive myself. I was doing the best I could with the information I had at that time. I didn't mean to hurt that individual or myself. I forgive myself, because right now that's what I think you're hanging on. Well, thanks, Keisha. I appreciate that. And the fact that he's in a relationship and you had this realization doesn't mean it lost its value. And I'll add one more thing, Keisha. Aloha Shaw. Dun, 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 dun. If you were capable of getting an individual this high quality in the past, you're capable of getting another one. If you're capable of making a match before, here's the part that's tough. They don't fall out of the sky. You're going to have to go on some bad dates. You're going to have to maybe, go on a double date with your cousin and, the neighbor of her boyfriend or something. You're going to have to do some bad experiences first. It's not Hollywood where you're going to just meet someone in a day. But are you capable of meeting someone? Yeah, and you might even get a better match because you're in a better place and you learn some things about your past relationship. And the breakup probably had to happen for you. When I gaslighted myself, I started questioning whether I was toxic to the relationship and looked at my flaws to see what I did cause my ex to leave. I questioned my own sanity. Ooh, that's deep. Yeah, I'm done. Made the decision today. Hard to walk away, but I feel I don't deserve to be strung along. I will miss her very much. We'll double down on the exercise, J to the C. I know it sounds like, oh, what do you mean exercise? Double down on fucking exercise. Runs, go on walks, because this thing's going to linger for a little bit on you. But your clarity is when someone said they're seeing someone else, and it'll get clearer and clearer. And the fact that you were together for a year, I'm not saying that's not a relationship, but be thankful that this didn't last 2, 3, 4 years with an individual like this. And you'll be able to come out of the woods on this a lot quicker than someone 4 or 5 years deep. Years in time invested counts. It does. Any closing questions, folks? Anyone want to do a live coaching session right now? I'm feeling good today. Went to the beach this morning, had a good hike yesterday in the mountains. Got a little kombucha. That kombucha is good, man. I will miss her very much. I'm sure you will. Any closing questions? I think this was a really good topic, folks. That's the thing though, because I was in a bad place. I didn't accept this love and support because I didn't believe it. And that's the guilt and regret I have from that relationship. I know you've been in a few of my streams, Justin Adams. You made a video in my case and ripped into me, which I'm glad you did. I don't rip into everyone. I treat everyone a little bit differently. It's going to bother you for a little bit. Don't Here's the thing. This is why I suggest exercise, because you're going to have little pockets of time where you feel better, but you're going to have to do the strategy and techniques like journaling, like going for runs to break it up. If you sit around and feel sorry for yourself, it'll be much worse. But this relationship, from what you told me, J to the C, was not your fault. She brought in major baggage. You accepted that. You gave it a shot. You did the best you could. And I would recommend what I just said to Keisha. I forgive myself. I did the best I could. There's a lot of power in that. A lot of times you don't know what you don't know. Ignorance is not stupidity. Ignorance is not knowing what you don't know. You had never been in a relationship with someone with major baggage, and now you were. Now you know, and knowing's half the battle, as the great G.I. Joe said. I gym every day now, and I read a new book a week. I have a lot of free time now. Outstanding, Justin. I mean, it worked in your favor, right? It worked in your favor. And you found this channel, and you support me. That's a plus for me, right? Well, the great thing is the fact that I ripped into you and I'm not a family or friend or something like that, you were able to take it. And I didn't mention your name. And that's why it's great with this service. Where do I start to heal? Just exercise? Should I start dating right away? I wouldn't start dating right away in your case. I would send your story in first to me. Be honest about the story, and I'll give you a tailored take. That's where I would start. Exercise, I'm just saying when you get a mouse wheel running in your head, you're feeling sorry for yourself, immediately go out for a run or a walk. It's something you can do. You can get present, and it just lightens up anxiety. That's just a short suggestion from me. That being said, there's other things I would recommend if we talked in a live coaching, or if you want to, send your story in. I have jot down some questions I've been wanting to ask. I believe I'm ready for my live coaching now. Finally, I will email you, but I can't today. Yeah, no problem, Wendy. Just email me and remind me which one you paid for. I'm planning on building a music festival next. Fuck yeah! This breakup has helped me be a better person. I wouldn't have accomplished that if I had not gone through it. I signed up for the Spartan race this year too. Fuck yes! That gave me chills. That's fucking outstanding. That is outstanding. That's the kind. Justin Adams, send me your email, bud. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, since you've had all this success moving forward, send me. Yeah, an online sock boutique to keep busy. All right, cool. Send me your email and your story of the video that I did, and maybe I can use you as a case study. Okay, cool. In my book. Hold on. Justin, that actually juiced me up for another 10 minutes to stay on this fucking live stream, because that's the kind of stuff that's coach currency. We never had a live coaching session, but if I contributed to that shit in any shape or form, you made my day, buddy. I mean, I'm not going to do a music festival. I'm not a music nut or anything like that, but just this is exactly part of the steps or the playbook that you want to run in coming out of the tunnel, coming out of the breakup. You created some kind of compelling future that excites you. Do you understand what I mean by that, Justin? Like the sock boutique thing. Some people might go, oh yeah, I don't really like socks. Cool. It's progress. It's improvement. It's a chance at making some extra money. Obviously, Keisha, you must like socks. Some people do, right? You signed up for a Spartan race this year too. Like this kind of, just lost my microphone if you guys could even hear me. This kind of stuff, that's where you want to head at the end of the circle, the breakup. And you're still going to feel bad. You're still going to miss the individual. But Justin, how long has this been? This has been a while, right? That you got to this point, though. I'm definitely going to email you. And I know you've emailed me before, and you've mentioned your story. I'm making a note of this. 6 months. Was it you that you wrote a comment on your story and you were like, this was my story, ... I mean, this is great, man. And so let me ask you this question, Justin. Why are you still coming to the live streams? I appreciate it. But what do you enjoy about it? But I mean, this is just great. I miss her, but I'm not too focused on what I'm too focused on what I want out of my life, so no one is going to save me but myself. Outstanding. Outstanding. And if she comes back, it's a bonus. Right, Justin? That's exactly where you want to get, J to the C. Now, saying that, and Justin can confirm this, in the beginning, it seems like a far, far boat ride, a far, far journey to get there. And Justin, I think it's been 6 months. You didn't get this place in a day. You've had some setbacks. You've had some hurt. You didn't go, oh, yeah, I'm going to build a music festival, 2 weeks after breaking up. Right? Am I right? But those are the kind of lofty things. And this is what I like about this. Nose is itchy. Building a music festival in the next few years. Okay, well, Mary, we can do a live coaching session with just sound. You don't have to, or you can just see me. There's some people that don't like video. Or they're at work or something. They want to just talk on the phone, or the audio only. Great, Justin. And I appreciate the fact that you've talked to other coaches. There's no competition in this to me. You can, J to the C. You absolutely can. It does take time. It does take time. Here's the beautiful thing about Justin's idea. I like so much. Obviously, if you're going to do a music festival, you like music, okay? The one thing I would change a little bit, Justin, get a little bit more specific. Don't go next few years. Go next year. Go 6 months from now. Get specific on your goal. This breakup has helped me to be a better person, or I wouldn't have gone through that. I signed up first. Like the thing about a Spartan race, you can sign up for that. You're committed. You're doing it. How can you sign up and commit to the music festival? But what I like about the music festival, it's not like Justin's like, oh, I'm going to be rich one day, or I'm going to, these lofty, independent, I'm going to travel more. Well, where are you going to go? Well, I don't know yet. It's like, no, I'm going to Thailand and I want to be on the beach where the movie The Beach was filmed by Leonardo DiCaprio. Now that's a compelling future. That's something I saw years ago. I saw the movie The Beach and I'm like, fuck. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Beach? Put aside the story, which was pretty cool, right? It's a pretty cool movie. But have you ever seen The Beach? Have you seen that beach? Just anyone out there. Have you seen that movie? Upon seeing that movie, years later, I went, I want to move there. That was compelling to me. Did it. Look it up. Leonardo DiCaprio. Called, no joke, Pee Island. That's what it's actually called. Todd Whitmore, TW. Seeing that movie, I was like, that seems like an exceptional, outstanding lifestyle. Oh my God, that is fucking cool. Even in a dark moment, watching that movie, I was like, wow. What? You did what? We did that once, remember? Did what? But where I'm going with this, J to the C, I don't know what's. Journal and brainstorm and go, if everything went right in your life and you had no limitations, don't go into money, don't go into this, and get really specific about an exciting idea that seems realistically possible, And the great thing when you're in a breakup is like, because you're at ground zero, you're like, fuck it, let's go for it. Because you're at ground zero, you have less to lose. You have less people to negotiate. But 10 years later, I live I don't know, I think it's about an hour and a half jet boat ride to that island. And people come around here, or they're visiting, or I have friends that come visit, and they're like, you fucking live here? Yeah. How'd you do that, man? Oh, I had a horrible breakup and created a compelling future. Now, is everything perfect? Hell no. Do I love the journey I did take and where I ended up? Yeah, for the most part. Has it been perfect? No. Have I had problems in my life? Yes. Am I better at dealing with them? Yes. So that's why I got all amped up when he said he's going to do a music festival, because those are the kinds of things that when you get up off the mouse wheel in your head and you smack that fucking mouse off the wheel and you stop the wheel running and you go, yeah, now that I'm alone, I don't have to negotiate my future, which is what you do when you're in a relationship. Let's be honest. You negotiate your future. A lot of times you're like, oh, I can do that. I really want to do this, but Karen won't like it if I did that. How many guys do that? Or John won't like, a woman will go, oh, but I would love to move to Boise, Idaho and have a farm and this and that and have acreage, but John likes living in the city, so I'll never do that. It's like, well, when you break up, it's like all that negotiation, all that stuff that you used to have to like check in with someone, you can just like erase it. And then you're like, oh shit, I can move anywhere, do anything I want. And I don't have to ask, like, are you in? That's fucking special, man. It's special. It's double special. And when you get to that power point, that's when you suddenly go, oh, I got some power in my life. Oh, I have something to look forward to. And I'm not talking about, here's the thing. Oh, I want to be rich. Oh, I want a good job. No. It's like, no, I want to build this fucking cool ass music festival in my hometown with this act and this act, and I want this lighting studio, and I want you have a vision in your head that's like, that'll be fucking now if I could get that going, that would be really cool. And I have a new compelling vision right now in my head. I have a new finish line. And the thing about finish lines and compelling visions, they don't happen right away. You marinate on them for a little bit. But I'll tell you what, life's better having one than going, this is when you fall into this, oh, everything's just okay. And okay's fine, because you're a harmless individual, kind of float through life. And I'm okay with it. Some people are like, oh yeah, it's just okay. You want to put people down for that. I'm fine. I mean, there's people that are in a bad place in life and they're still really good human beings. And this is the crazy thing about people in bad places. If you do it for too long, you're typecasted, you identify with it, and you don't want to get better because you like complaining because it's part of who you are. That's dangerous. Now you get to a point where you're in a breakup and like everything falls apart and you're like, all right, let me reassess everything. I think some people stick around town with hopes that their ex will come back. Yeah, that's possible. And listen, I'm going to talk about this in the book, and I talked about this many times in the videos. Environment counts. Environment counts. Environment counts. You need to do an environmental analysis in your fucking life. What do you mean, Mac? I don't want to get into it because it's a big part of the book, but environmental analysis of your life. What's your work environment? What's your home block environment? Where do you spend most of your time? Is it fun? Do you enjoy that environment? It affects your life to the fullest. If you don't like the environment, move. If you don't like the environment at work, change jobs. I can't. No, that means I won't. You can't do it in a day, but Could you do it? J to the C, hey man, you will get there. I never thought I would. I have my days every now and then, but I remember why I'm pushing for that success. Find your why. You want a good life. Get it. Go get it, bro. Justin Adams is giving me goosebumps. I think some people stick around. That's possible, TW. I always said that I thought a change of environment might help my ex's mental health. It's just underrated. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to give away the whole chapter from it. It's completely underrated. And if you haven't moved a couple times in your life, and full disclosure, I'm being biased because I've moved a couple times, so I'm, somehow I'm better. No, I mean, there's some people that have never moved from my hometown that are living really good lives, and I look at it and I'm like, wow, you did really well for yourself. So I'm not going to judge them all on that, but I think that your ability to be open-minded, flexible, and deal with future problems is probably at a higher level if you've ever put yourself where you had to move somewhere new for a high period of time. What does MAW mean when it's 111? Make a wish. I'm thinking, Ma, I love where I work at this. I got my wish. I work at, but this is where everything happened with him. So it's a good reason to move away, or a good reason to stay, to face it and move on. But what if I stay and I can't move on? That's a really good question. I would say make the decision with the highest intention, make the decision with the highest level of getting what you want. Does that make sense? So I would say if you're getting the same results by staying in the same place, I would go for the move. You're right, Justin. I need to start living for myself and not depend on someone for my happiness. I admit I depended on her and our relationship too much. Well, don't shed the snake skin of guilt right there and go, I was doing the best I could. I forgive myself. I had good intentions. I treated this woman well and it didn't work out. Come back to that. I'm going to have a mantra too that I'm going to help people with. Mantras help. All right, folks, I went a little bit extra because Justin Adams just got me excited with this music festival. You're going to have to share it, and I'll do my best. I don't have a huge following or anything like that, but anything I could do to help an individual and even so, you haven't been a live coaching session client, but the fact that you support the channel, support what I do, I'd love to have the opportunity to somehow support this music festival in the future, bud. So keep me in the loop about that, and I will be probably emailing you, and maybe we can discuss your ups and downs through this breakup, because 6 months is a great time. Great to catch you again, Coach. Thanks, TW. It's been good, man. It's been good. I'm taking this to a little bit higher level, and I've been feeling good about the live streams. This is the kind of style I like doing. Thanks for the likes. Are we at 10 likes? No, we're at 9 likes. 9 and 9. Does that mean anything to you, Mary? A 9? No, 10-9 now. Make a wish. Mary, you can email me. I will be available if you do want to do the coaching audio only right now. If anyone else does and they want to email me right now, you could do a coaching session now. You have it. I say, it's a cliche statement, Justin Adams, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And making that light into some compelling future, like a musical festival or something like that, I think it helps a little bit. But doing the activities, looking for solutions, trying new things, talking to breakup coaches, the main thing you got to do is not accept the darkness. Deal with it. Don't accept it as something that's going to be your life. It's just a chapter in your book, folks. So I hope that helps you. That's going to be curtains for today. All the best, folks.